Good evening, everybody. For those that might not know my voice, I'm Pastor Kevin, and I have the honor of serving at the Danville First and Bowman Avenue United Methodist Churches. I had originally planned a gathering for the two churches where we could spend a casual evening exploring Israel together through some of the 900 pictures that I took on my trip in January. Since we aren't able to gather, I figured I'd share a few pictures that correspond with Holy Week over the next couple of days. This first picture is an olive tree. I had never seen an olive tree before, and I absolutely fell in love with them, especially the old ones. By the time my trip was over, I decided that I should plant an olive tree at every church I serve at. The problem is that I want to be able to age them rapidly to a few hundred years so that they start to look like this. This tree right here is my pick for the coolest tree I've ever seen. This next one is a very close second. I want to point out that all of the pictures tonight are taken in the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus went to pray after the Last Supper. They went to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He took with him Peter and James and John, and began to be distressed and agitated. And he said to them, "I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and keep awake." And going a little farther, he threw himself on the ground and prayed that, if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. He said, "Abba, Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me. Yet not what I want, but what you want." He came and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, "Simon, are you asleep? Could you not keep awake 1 hour? Keep awake and pray that you may not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." And again he went away and prayed, saying the same words. And once more he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were very heavy, and they did not know what to say to him. He came a third time and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and taking your rest? Enough! The hour has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand." This comes from the book of Mark, chapter 14, verses 32 through 42. This garden is where Jesus went to have a little peace and pray before the crucifixion. This is where Jesus chose to take his disciples after the Last Supper. It's a very peaceful place, especially on this particular Sunday morning. Our group had this entire section reserved to pray in private. The only sounds that we could hear were the traffic in the background and a couple of birds fighting on the ground for the entire time that we were there. The garden itself sits in the Kidron Valley at the base of the Mount of Olives. Looking up from the garden, the Temple Mount is clearly visible. In this picture, you can see the Dome of the Rock over the temple wall. In Jesus' time, the temple itself would have towered even higher, creating a stark reminder of what was to come. There is no escaping the awareness that everything is about to change for Jesus and the disciples. But there was still hope. Jesus knew what was coming, but he also knew what happened after that. That hope would triumph at the moment when all seemed lost. Right now, we need that hope and that confidence. We need to look forward to being able to reconnect with our loved ones safely, to being able to go to the store without feeling nervous about it. We need to be able to look forward to a time when things are going to be closer to normal. When Jesus prayed in the garden, he knew nothing was going to be the same ever again. Tonight, as we think about that, we also know that nothing will ever be the same. Or maybe it will. But that means that we won't have learned anything from this ridiculous experience. I hope that we come through this changed. I hope that we don't let the world go back to normal, that we hold each other a little tighter, that we love each other a little more, that we remember those that don't have as much as we do, and continue to look out for each other. I hope that we learn some lessons in our time of isolation as churches and as people in general. Thanks for listening on this Holy Thursday, and we'll talk again tomorrow.